Once upon a time, Shinsuke Nakamura was one of the most over WWE superstars, but nowadays he's been floundering in the midcard. From his electrifying days in New Japan Pro Wrestling to his highly anticipated arrival in WWE, his path was always brimming with potential and promise. But WWE's creative choices and booking decisions have inadvertently hindered his once glorious trajectory, cause now he looks like a shadow of his former self. The choices made by WWE with regards to Nakamura have led to missed opportunities and a dilution of the King of Strong Style that we all came to love and adore. Join us today as we delve into the fascinating journey of one of wrestling's most enigmatic and charismatic talents, Shinsuke Nakamura, and how WWE have ruined his once mighty aura, leaving fans to ponder what could have been. Shinsuke Nakamura was born in Japan in 1980. Growing up, he was often bullied, so this led him to training in karate and jiu-jitsu. These interests led him to discovering pro wrestling, and in high school he joined his wrestling club. In 2001, he joined New Japan Pro Wrestling's Dojo, and this is the place where he learned the art of professional wrestling. Even from his early days in wrestling, he showed massive potential. He impressed higher-ups with his great technical skill and natural aptitude for wrestling. In New Japan, he was seen as part of the new Three Musketeers alongside Hiroshi Tanahashi and Katsuyori Shibata, who are pegged to be the next big stars of New Japan Pro Wrestling and the ones to carry the next generation of Japanese wrestling on their backs. It's fair to say that these three have lived up to those expectations, as they have become legends in their own right. However, at the period in time when Nakamura was coming up in the ranks, Inokiism was rife. This was when the founder of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Antonio Inoki, made his wrestlers get into actual MMA fights because he believed that it would attract more business if fans saw the wrestlers as legit fighters. This harmed the street cred of a lot of wrestlers, but in the case of Nakamura, his credibility was increased as he had the opportunity to showcase his karate and jiu-jitsu fighting skills. His MMA record was 3 wins, 1 loss, and 1 no contest. So he benefited massively from Inokiism as fans saw him as the real deal. To reward Nakamura for his efforts, Inoki made him the IWGP Heavyweight Champion for the first time in 2003, just 2 years into his wrestling career, and when he won the title, he was the youngest ever IWGP Heavyweight Champion of all time at 23 years old. In the next few years, he proved that he was a big player in New Japan by winning the IWGP Tag Team titles and the IWGP Heavyweight title many more times. But what really got the ball rolling was when he let the darker side of his personality come out and he picked up a more aggressive demeanor and moveset. This was when the King of Strong Style was born. He had a goal to revive the old spirit of New Japan Strong Style glory days, hence calling himself the King of Strong Style. This wasn't just a gimmick though, as he actually started to work more stiff in the ring, and he even had a new finishing move called the Bomaye, which is a reference to what the Congolese crowd were chanting when Muhammad Ali faced George Foreman in 1974's Rumble in the Jungle. Ali Bomaye literally means Ali, kill him. This move by Nakamura was so brutal in fact that it legitimately broke Hiroshi Tanahashi's jaw at one point. Nakamura's strong style resonated with fans who appreciated the realism and intensity that he brought to his matches. His willingness to take risks, deliver powerful strikes, and execute breathtaking maneuvers showcased his passion for the sport and added an extra layer of excitement to his matches. Nakamura also created a heel faction called Chaos, and with them he was running New Japan Pro Wrestling. Throughout Chaos's run, it had many notable members like Kazuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, and even Tetsuya Naito for some time. It was not just through his new intense in-ring work, his new heel attitude, and through his faction Chaos that he got incredibly over and ran New Japan, but through his immense dripping charisma. He took inspiration from mainstream legends like Michael Jackson and Freddie Mercury and created a charisma that was hard not to gravitate towards. His charisma was nothing short of mesmerizing. His magnetic personality exuded an aura of confidence and uniqueness. He had an innate ability to connect with the audience on a visceral level, creating an instant bond with fans who were drawn to his magnetic presence. He had a distinct and eccentric character. He embraced a larger-than-life persona, blending elements of Japanese traditionalism with modern swagger. His flamboyant ring attire, eccentric gestures, and distinctive mannerisms set him apart from other wrestlers, making him instantly recognizable and memorable. He was even voted as the most charismatic wrestler in the Wrestling Observer newsletter in 2014 and 2015. He just had that it factor that you couldn't really teach. What also really cemented his run in New Japan as legendary were his runs with the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. To this day, the IWGP Intercontinental Championship and Nakamura are synonymous because he elevated the secondary belt to be just as important, if not more important than IWGP Heavyweight Championship at certain times. This was shown at Wrestle Kingdom 8 when fans were given a decision to vote on the main event in the Tokyo Dome between the match Okada vs Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship or the match Nakamura vs Tanahashi for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Fans voted on the latter to main event. This was a massive deal because it just meant that a secondary title was main eventing the biggest show of the year over the world title. For those who don't understand the magnitude of this is like the Intercontinental Champion Gunther main eventing WrestleMania over undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Yeah, it's a big deal. This was a lot to do with how over Nakamura was and how much he made the title feel like a massive deal. He is also the longest reigning IWGP Intercontinental Champion of all time. Him and that white belt might as well have gotten married the way that they were made for each other. He was also wildly popular due to all of these factors, that he released an autobiography which was a bestseller and even appeared in the Japanese version of Pharrell Williams' Happy. He was a superstar at this point, and because of that, WWE inevitably came knocking on his door. And much to everyone's surprise, he had his last match in New Japan Pro Wrestling against AJ Styles at Wrestle Kingdom 10, in which he was victorious, and then he signed for WWE in 2016. This sent shockwaves throughout the wrestling world. He reported to WWE Developmental NXT as one of Triple H's major signings. Triple H treated him like the big deal that he was, as his first match in NXT was at TakeOver Dallas against Sami Zayn. This match was freaking awesome and is widely considered to be the greatest match in NXT history. During his time in NXT, Nakamura got much more educated with the WWE style of wrestling and production. His charisma was so potent that fans were on his side no matter what. What really added to how over he got was his badass entrance music that fans sang along to. Hell, this entrance music is so good that rapper Lil Uzi Vert even made a remix to the song. Sorry I can't play it here because I'll probably get copyrighted, but the song is called Nakamura. The Shinsuke Nakamura project was working in NXT and he was over as hell with the fans. This led him to winning the NXT Championship twice. He was absolutely loved by the fans, was headlining pay-per-views, selling tons of merchandise, and became a top draw for that brand. At this point, it seemed kinda ridiculous that a man as over and as talented as Nakamura was on the developmental brand and not on the main roster, seeing that he was more accomplished than a lot of people on the main roster. Management realized this and Shinsuke Nakamura debuted on Smackdown Live in 2017, and this was one of the greatest WWE debuts ever. He's literally oozing charisma, and the WWE fans not so familiar with him were instantly hooked by his alluring aura and banger entrance music that they could sing along to. Just like that, Nakamura was over with the main roster audience because he was presented like an absolute superstar from day one. A lot of people say that they should have given him a manager since he's not that great at English promos, and even though that would have helped him, he didn't need one because he connected with the fans just on charisma alone. That's how much he had. However, when Nakamura went to the main roster, they changed his moniker from the King of Strong Style to the artist known as Shinsuke Nakamura. Changing his moniker like this was not for no reason, because on the main roster, he couldn't be the King of Strong Style because the main roster style of wrestling was pretty soft and he had to adapt to it, which caused his main roster matches to be lackluster in comparison to his matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling and NXT, but it wasn't his fault. You know whose fault it was. Losing the King of Strong Style character was like losing his true identity, and this had an effect on the way he came across to fans. The main roster was proving to be tricky for Nakamura to navigate, and what made it trickier was his match with John Cena in 2017. In this match on Smackdown, Nakamura gave Cena a suplex like he would give others in Japan, and Cena landed right on his neck in an ugly manner. Cena was okay though, and Nakamura got the win over Cena in this match, to get himself a shot at the WWE Championship. This should have been a career-defining win for Nakamura, but it was overshadowed by the suplex. WWE fans on the internet were set ablaze at the incident, and most importantly, backstage, Vince McMahon was absolutely livid with Nakamura, wrestling strong style with his biggest superstar. Following this match, he viewed Nakamura as being reckless. Cena did not show any ill will towards him for this move, and he actually defended Nakamura to Vince by stating that he did nothing wrong. Even though he was over with fans at this point, this incident tainted Vince's view of him as he never saw him the same again. By beating Cena, Nakamura earned a shot at Jinder Mahal's WWE Championship. But since he had gotten on Vince's bad side, this feud hurt him. First of all, the feud was notoriously a mess, with Jinder Mahal even being racist toward him at one point. And Nakamura then lost to Jinder Mahal at the second biggest show of the year, SummerSlam, and went on to lose to him a few times more after this. This all really hurt Nakamura's momentum, because if he couldn't beat a guy who honestly was an experimental champion, was having a stink of a reign and that no one liked, then who could he actually beat? This just made fans view Nakamura as less because he couldn't beat one of the worst WWE champions in history. But there was still hope for him, as he won the Royal Rumble match in 2018 to everyone's surprise. Just like that, he was really hot and earned himself a shot at AJ Styles' WWE Championship at WrestleMania 34. These two had history from Wrestle Kingdom 10, and now they're gonna wrestle at WrestleMania 34, so this was a dream rematch for many. His WrestleMania 34 entrance was one of the best WWE WrestleMania entrances of all time. WWE should have pulled the trigger on him at this point, but he lost this match and afterwards turned heel, and because he was heel, WWE changed his iconic entrance music that fans sang along to. If you ask me, that should be a crime. Give Vincent Kennedy McMahon 25 years to life in jail just for changing his entrance music. Wait, he could actually go to jail for that long considering all the heinous things that he's done throughout the years. If this heel turn would have led to something, maybe it would have been acceptable, but no. Nakamura just kept on losing to Styles as he lost slipping down the card into the midcard, a place where he naturally should not be. And in the years after WrestleMania 34, he has won mid-card titles like the US Championship and the Intercontinental Championship many times. But to be honest, these reigns have largely been forgettable, seeing that WWE don't treat him like this big deal that he once was anymore. He even signed a new WWE contract in 2021 that will keep him at the company for a while, so it seems like he's fine with his placing on the card in WWE. At least WWE allowed him to wrestle in the Japanese promotion Noah in the Great Mutoh's last match in the beginning of 2023, which shows that they respect him, and at the show we saw a glimpse of the old Nakamura. But when he came back, that was all gone. It's just so sad to see how far he has fallen ever since he got to WWE. How WWE have managed to ruin Shinsuke Nakamura is quite astounding actually. He was once a man of stature, brilliance and charisma, and now his career has gone downhill and it feels like he's irrelevant. He felt very special and fans were hyped for his matches, but now, he's just another guy on the main roster. Nakamura is no longer the king of strong style and he's just a bland artist who no one really cares about too much. And this is all because of WWE's bad booking of him and bad creative choices for him. It's a shame because he could have been one of the faces of WWE. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other videos. Also, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. But anyway, goodbye.